Professors for hire. Would a doctor ever sell out his patients to drug companies and promote drugs for money?
The doctors themselves should know better than to just dispense medicine like that to people.
Why did doctors write so many VIOXX prescriptions, even as evidence of harm mounted?
Was all of this prescribing happening only because of gifts and lunches? Not all doctors get their information from drug company reps. Doctors go to medical school for years, then take courses, go to lectures, and doctors learn from distinguished professors, experts in the field.
I think it's easy to overestimate doctors' scientific credentials. Doctors now get most of their education about prescription drugs, how to use them, when to use them, what to use them for, from drug companies. The medical schools and the profession itself have, to a large extent, abdicated their responsibilities to educate doctors.
A conservative estimate is that pharma spent $20 billion on drug marketing and promotion, or as pharma prefers to call it, educational outreach. During the same time, all the U.S. medical schools combined spent only $3.5 billion educating doctors.
The pharmaceutical industry has taken over the doctor profession.
If they can get these thought leaders lined up, then they have an effect on doctors far beyond their numbers, since they do write the papers and they speak at the meetings that are sponsored by drug companies. So the drug companies are very, very nice to them. They hire them to speak at meetings in nice places. They go to resorts in Hawaii. They talk to other doctors that are brought out there. They're handsomely paid and generally courted. They're flattered incessantly. After a while, they think they walk on water because the drug companies are kissing their ring all the time.
These are doctors, professors, teachers. These are people who are very prominent, who, in my opinion, have totally corrupted themselves and take money from drug companies to promote drugs.
The most important doctors in the field are paid by the pharmaceutical industry to go out and lecture and speak on the efficacy and safety of these new medicines and these great drugs.
The most efficient marketing tools are the ones where the physician doesn't necessarily notice that he is being marketed to.
Experts in the field are paid by companies to not only market the drugs, but market them in such a way that instead of looking at what they're saying as marketing or advertising, it's done as science.
The company obviously knows which doctors are favorably inclined to its drugs. You have somebody who doesn't speak well about the drug, you're not going to hire him again to do another speaking engagement.
One of the reasons the pharmaceutical companies really pursue the thought leaders is because of how other physicians perceive them. And in essence, when they are able to vouch for a product or to recommend a product, they become the ultimate rep for that company, the most credible rep for that company.
Once you've shown your expertise, the drug companies come after you, and with their checkbooks, they start hitting you over the head and shoulders with their checkbooks. And they say, oh, come and do this for us, come and speak for us at meetings, come and do a continuing medical education course for us, come and help us out, do some advising on some research that we're doing. And with one thing or another, most of the doctors and scientists who you find are in these positions of power are also having financial relations with the drug companies in their field of expertise. It's a terrible, frightening thing that's happened to medicine in this country.
Now, they call them consultants. The amount of consulting is very minor because usually these are clinical people. The drugs that they test are already made, already developed. So there's very little consulting to do. But they call them consultants, and it's a way of getting money to them and winning their hearts and minds. And the same is true for people who are writing guidelines. They are the ones that the drug companies most want to hire as consultants.
These guidelines from the American College of Rheumatology recommend that VIOXX and Celebrex be used as the first-line anti-inflammatory drugs for joint pain. An internal memo of Merck had a notation next to the name of the author of these guidelines. The notation said, "Show me the money."
Show me the money! Show me the money!
Physicians are like anybody else. They like money.
I would say the percentage that seemed untouched or not influenced by the pharmaceutical company is very small. Most of them are influenced. I would say perhaps 5% would really be not influenced by the different gifts and toys and trips and whatever else the pharmaceutical company had to give.
Molding clinical trials. Clinical trials are the key to proper patient care. Can science be manipulated? Can the results of clinical studies be changed?
It was the year 2000. The VIOXX trial was published in the New England Journal of Medicine, which showed a 4 to 5-fold increase risk of heart attacks in patients who took VIOXX. But in the paper, the author said, and the authors were sponsored by the drug companies, said, "We're not going to tell you any more about this. This will come in another paper." And that was it.
Dr. Bohl, a researcher and teacher at Mount Sinai School of Medicine, has never agreed to participate in drug company-sponsored research.
Much research that's pharmaceutical industry sponsored or privately sponsored is challenged inherently because I believe that physicians and other researchers ultimately know what the goal is for the pharmaceutical company that's sponsoring the funding. Even on a subconscious level, they know that the pharmaceutical company would prefer that the study shows a difference.
A drug trial done by a pharmaceutical company is 5 times as likely to show a positive result for the particular drug than a drug trial conducted by the NIH. And there's a reason for this very clearly.
The drug companies basically design the trials, they interpret the trials, they analyze the data, they can manipulate the data in such a way as to show that this trial shows a certain thing, whether it be that there are no adverse effects for this drug or not. But the drug companies are basically in charge of molding what those clinical trials that they design themselves say.
These are scientists of great reputation and ability, and so therefore are not likely in any way to compromise their own integrity or ethics or their scientific standing.
In this article published on December 28, 2005, the editors of the New England Journal of Medicine call into question the integrity of the Merck-sponsored authors of the VIOXX trial. The title is Expression of Concern. 3 heart attacks, all in the VIOXX group, were not included in the data submitted to the journal. These inaccuracies and deletions call into question the integrity of the data.